Adora, Tribora. Tribor? It's too tempting for Quinch. We're safe with Urgler and her dogs.
I'll buy your dogs.
Fa la 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 la.
I'll buy your dogs.
Fa la 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 la. Tribora, la 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 la. Adora, la 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 la. Tribora, la 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 la. Adora, la la. We all adore Tribor. We find a place to rest now that our troubles are at an end. A chance to earn some coin, a chance for Queens to find a friend. 2 more companions are required. Less circus and more zoo in Dice and Desire.
So, all of you are in the North Shield house in your respective rooms. Quinch has returned to his room. We will never know what happened that night, and that's probably for the best. But sticking with Quinch, as he lays his head down on his pillow, can you roll me a perception check, please, Michael?
Yes. Oh, this is a strong roll to start off with.
What is it?
16.
So someone's forgotten we're not playing in person, and I don't have the foresight of sight. So what is it? 16.
Yes.
As you're laying your head down and thinking of events that have occurred recently, you're just closing your eyes and just about to drift off into whatever sleep a dragonborn half-human can get in these conditions, and you just suddenly hear just very, almost imperceptible music and singing. It's very light, and it's very calming and soothing. What would you like to do?
Does it make me feel sleepy?
It makes you feel, yes, sort of peaceful.
And we're in the hotel at this point.
You're in the hotel. You're all in your respective rooms. You're on your own in your room.
I was going to ask if we all took individual rooms. I couldn't quite remember.
Yes, I believe you all took individual rooms.
Assuming that my window opens, I'd like to open my window.
Okie dokie. You open your window and you look out. And again, can you roll me another? No, actually, we won't roll for that. As you look out the window, you don't see anybody or any lights on or anything like that. You don't notice anything that would sort of identify as being where the singing came from.
Can I hear it more loudly or not?
Slightly less loudly as you go to the window. It's still very, very light. It's worth noting this is just sort of, almost imperceptible.
The music is incredibly faint, Quinch pondered to himself. Almost imperceptible. So he decides to leave his room to see if it's coming from within the hotel.
Okay. As you walk out into the hallway, the music is even more quieter out here.
Okay, so I go back into my room, and completely perplexed by this situation, I wonder where it could be coming from. Quitch will lift up the cube of many colours and place his ear up to the cube.
Where is your cube of many colours, out of interest?
On the bedside table.
Right, is that with the rest of your belongings? Is that in your pack or?
No, it's not with the rest of my belongings because it was my plan to fiddle with it in the morning.
Okay. You go to your cube of many colours, and nothing. You can still hear the music. But can you roll me another perception?
Yes. It's a 5 this time, fairly much weaker.
A 5. I would say that even with such a low score or low roll, you still you get the impression that this is not coming from the cube.
I can only think of 2 other places this could possibly be coming from. A storm duster, highly probable and possible, but actually more realistically my bum-shaped potato. I'm unable to find the bum-shaped potato, so I decide to hold storm duster up to my ear.
And where are these pieces? Are these also on your table?
I don't actually take storm duster off.
Oh, okay. Even sleeping, that's seems fairly dangerous, that, but there you go. I think we'll deal with that as a damage mechanic in a second.
Sleeps with a knuckle duster, goes to scratch his face and punches himself.
You hold that up to your ear, and the music is certainly not coming from Storm Duster.
I don't want to waste too much time looking for this sound. Am I able? Do I have any? If I walk slowly around the room, am I able to find where it's coming from?
As you, yeah, okay. Can you roll me an investigation check?
Yes. Oh, natural 20. Assuming that doesn't change things. +1, 21.
Okay. As you're walking around your room, trying to locate this sound, as you go past or get close to your the pack of the rest of your belongings, the music stops.
Oh. I cannot imagine where the sound is coming from, but it is something that I will certainly take up with the fellow men in the morning.
Okie dokie. And then you can go to bed, I assume.
Yes, sorry, I go to bed, yes.
Okie dokie. Lovely. Greg.
Good evening.
Good evening, hello. Before you lay down for the evening, would you like to have a little look at your potion?
I would absolutely love to have a look at my potion. Can you describe it to me? The vial, the colour, etc.?
Absolutely, yeah. So it comes in. It came in I believe a small vial. It's not particularly large, like beaker of this or any large container of it. It's just a small sort of just something very much that you just neck. It's quite it's a red, fairly sort of viscous, swirling concoction. Would you like to have a little smell of it?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, it's got a quite a musky aroma, with just a soupçon, to bring us back to a word that we've used earlier. A soupçon of sort of like a metallic hint to the smell. As you're looking at the potion, with these swirls, they're quite arcane and mystical, and you can almost get the impression that they sort of form faces, not distinct faces that is really present and in your face and discernible, but they're just sort of just for brief fractions of seconds. It's sort of like they form something, and almost at the second that they formed, they disappear, and just sort of it's just continuously sort of swirling.
Okay. Greg's gonna dip his finger in it and just have a little droplet off his finger, just to taste it and see what the effects are, because it was sold to him as a potion of memory, if I recall.
That's correct. You dip your finger in, you take a little taste of it. You get that same sort of, almost the same as the smell. You get that sort of earthiness, that sort of metallic taste to it. But there's no immediate, it's not like you get a rush of memories or anything like that. There's nothing that immediately happens.
Okay. And with that, Greg's just going to go, well, I'm sure I've drunk worse things. Bottoms up. And he just downs the potion.
Okie dokie. Yeah, you neck it. It's quite, as the appearance would suggest, it's quite viscous. It's quite thick, thicker than most potions that you would have had in your time. But not completely difficult to drink or anything like that. It's just a bit thicker than
like
most.
A thick milkshake.
a thick milkshake, a thick metallic red milkshake, lovely. And it goes down, and there's no immediate reaction.
Well, I feel like I've been conned here. And with that, Greg's just going to throw the bottle and smash it against the wall in his room.
Oh, nice.
Just in like a bit of, rage, kind of, that he may have been swindled.
Good of you to damage someone else's property, I guess, and just make hard work for Urgala and her staff to clear up after you.
That's nothing. You should check the yard. It's full of boys right now.
And would you like to go to bed? Or anything else you want to do before you?
No, I've fully read my book, so yeah, no, I'll just go to sleep. With that, I've got nothing else that I need to do this evening. Just recover slightly.
Lovely. Dweezil.
Hello.
Last session.
Correct.
One of the last things you did, in fact, was you took some notices from the board.
I did, yes.
Would you like to look at those now?
Yeah.
Before you go to bed, or would you like to wait?
No, I'll have a flick through them, please.
Okay. So you find amongst them, there's 2 notices for missing persons.
Yep.
One of which talks about a human girl, 13, called Alma Widdens.
What a lovely name.
It is, isn't it? Whose parents are Arne and Cyrene Widdens, asking for information.
Yep.
And there is also there's a second notice for a dwarf boy.
Yep.
17, called Torrand Ulgar.
Another lovely name. Yep.
Yeah. And his mother is Alestra Ulgar. Or Ulgar, as I just said.
Wonderful.
There's also a notice there, an advert, if you will, for the Tribal Travellers.
Ooh.
Which purports to be a caravan company.
Yep.
Which potentially will take you to a couple of places for coin, and the advert, the logo on this advert is a black-winged serpent.
Oh yes, we're familiar with this logo, aren't we?
Yeah.
From back in the day.
And there's a small note that says, "Inquire with Erlam."
Erlam. Yep.
Okay. There's also a notice there for pest control.
Yep.
Somebody needing some help to get rid of some rats, with a potential reward for 25 gold pieces.
We'll probably leave that one, because the last time we had to get rid of some rats, we made bloody hard work of it.
Admittedly, you were probably about 3 levels metagaming, 3 levels lighter.
Is there a contact name or anything for the person who's got the rat problem?
There is, absolutely. His name is Dars, and he can be found at the West Caravan Campground.
West Caravan Campground, lovely.
Yep. There's also a request for some assistance with some herbs and spices.
Nice.
A lady by the name of Tarmac Feleskar.
Tarmac?
Yeah,
Tarmok.
Apparently she's been driving our prices up.
Tarmok Feleskar.
Should have seen that cumin.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Need someone to locate some ingredients for her.
Yep.
Have we got the time? Sorry.
Lovely stuff. And the final one that you've got there simply says, "Let's restore the frog. Cash needed, muscle needed." And suggests that you speak to a person by the name of Othovir.
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 Is there this "Let's restore the frog"? Is the poster just wording? Is there any kind of iconography on it that might give us an idea of, like, as soon as I'm in "Let's restore the frog," I'm thinking this is a Challenge Annika type thing. There's a derelict pub that needs doing up.
Oh, you're what a wonderful man you are. It is indeed. This notice has it has a frog, a little picture of a frog to obviously signify something. But also down in the bottom corner, there's a couple of mugs of ale, if you will, just being sort of like bashed together. So from that, you would probably get the impression that this is possibly a drinking house that needs restoration.
Nice.
There's no sort of like financial figures or anything like that, but it's a jaunty little, it's a call to arms, so to speak. It's a fun little note. You're reading it and having a little mirth smile to yourself.
It's got Dweezil's, kind of the old brain ticking over there. As soon as I'm seeing that Let's Restore the Frog, I'm thinking a benefit concert. I'm thinking perhaps try and influence them to not just restore the Frog as a drinking establishment, but maybe it could be, a regional performance centre, with some repute. They might want to name it after me, thus, perpetuating the name of Dweezil Vanzaphir across the Sword Coast. So I'm imagining the Dweezil, the Dweezil Vanzaphir stage at the Frog, that kind of thing. That's something that does excite me. And gets a little bit of a rise out of me at bedtime.
Wow.
Yeah. Nice.
Shame you haven't got Mage Hand. Ooh. Right. Anything else you'd like to do? Those are all the notices that you picked up.
What I am going to do is I'm just going to kind of neatly tuck these away inside my little scroll that I've got with my my bits and bobs of papers and things. Keep those because I'm collecting bits of paper. And what I am going to do before I go to bed, I'm just going to spend an hour and a half, a couple of hours, just going over my weaponry and my armour and stuff, because Dweezil's aware that he hasn't really been taking care of his bits and bobs. So I'm just going to do a bit of cleaning of my rapier, just checking through my crossbow bolts, maybe making sure that they're straight and true, because I bought them from sellers that I wasn't familiar with, and just giving my armour, my leather armour, a bit of a brush down, a bit of a wipe, just smartening it up a little bit, because it's been a good couple of weeks on the road without an opportunity to. But nothing. I'm not going to do anything crazy.
Any buffing?
I might buff it a little bit, yeah. And then when I've done that, I'll get back to looking after my armour and weapons.
There we go. Krill, you are in your room with two extra inhabitants. Is there anything you'd like to do before you go to bed? Preferably not talk to. Don't talk to him.
With that, I
no, you can talk to them. I'm kidding.
I asked the dogs to remind me of what are your names again, boys?
Billy. Bob.
Well,
Bob's the bigger one.
Well, Billy and looks up Bob.
He's not bigger than you.
Krill's lying down.
I bought you on a bit of an impulse, so it's nice to have you with me. We've got a goat called Sebastian. He's outside. There's a couple of horses. Nathan. There's another one. Kevin. Uno, Dos, and Trez. I'm sure that tomorrow will facilitate a big introduction of you all telling each other's names and a little bit of backstory about yourselves.
But obviously, the best thing about this is animals can't talk to each other, so this conversation would have to go through you. You'd have to interpret and translate for
I shall mediate.
You'll take minutes.
And with that, I throw them each a bone that I pull out of my knapsack. Don't know where it came from. Don't know what sort of bone it is, but they both, I'm assuming, are very happy with this. I give them pats on the heads. You're both good boys. Apparently, I've not known you more than 5 minutes. It's about time I turn in. And with that, he gets on the bed. He's huge. These beds aren't made for people Krill size. His feet hang right off the end. And yeah, he's ready to go sleep.
Okay. You head into sleep. As you close your eyes, you with the excitement of the previous day, having dealt with or spent traveling with a giant for a few days, and then the excitement of finding getting yourself back on ground, finding a new town that you can shop around at and do various things, and then buying 2 dogs, two new friends. You go into a bit of a deep sleep. But it's not necessarily the best of sleeps, in fact. And through the night, you start tossing and turning. And you have a few dreams, but one in particular wakes you. You're 12 years old. It's the day of your father's birthday. He has promised a place at his table for the warrior who can bring him the largest tree. All of his trusted followers have left you behind, thinking your request to compete was a joke, laughing at you. You head into the forest alone and find the perfect prize. You know that your father will respect you for bringing this back to him. You chop at the trunk. Nothing. You chop again. Nothing. You chop again and again. No mark is made. You chop. You chop. You chop. Each swing harder, more ferocious than the last, and yet no impression can be made on the tree. You stop. Breathe slowly, concentrating so hard that you can feel the blood pulsing through you. You hear a whisper on the wind. You hear your mother say, "You can do it, Tenprinji. You can cut them all down." You open your eyes and swing at the tree with everything you have. As the blade connects with the trunk, your body explodes. And you wake up.
What did my mum call me?
Tenprinji. My prince.
I tell you what, whenever I can't get wood, I often think about my mother.
And does it end with you exploding?
In a way.
Right. How do I awaken? Like panic?
Yeah,
or...
if you can roll me a constitution check.
At least we had one barbarian exploding towards the start of this episode.
Con check, was it?
Yeah.
13.
13. You wake and you're quite rattled. We know about Krill and the connection to his father. We know that Krill wants to please him and to bring home a trophy to him to be respected by his father. So it's no surprise that he would start dreaming about him, having been away from him for quite a while. Having met a few giants, these are potential trophies that are potentially things that the killing of would give your father some, give him some respect for you. Your mother, though, is not something we've talked about, and the fact that she's appearing in your dreams is somewhat complicated.
I'm surprised Krill even knows what she looks like.
Well, it's more you don't see her, you just hear her voice. And even then, it's not like you necessarily know her voice. You just, in your dream, you know it's your mother. You know it's somebody whispering to you. Wow.
Mm.
This is getting very real tonight, isn't it?
But before we leave you, can you roll me a perception check, please?
17.
17. You take a moment for all of this dream to take stock of it all and for it all to sink in, and all of us, like, after a couple of seconds of just like being overawed by the situation, you suddenly realise that where's Mr Mosey?
Oh.
Hold the phone.
And then the sort of the contents of the room start invading your senses, and you suddenly hear dogs growling, and you roll over from your bed and you look down and you see Billy and Bob with Mr Mosey between their teeth.
Holy shit.
One pulling on his head and the other pulling at, well, in between the legs. I guess if Mr Mosey had genitalia, that's where they'd be.
Right. What's within reach? Is there anything within reach that I can pick up?
I mean, the dogs aren't that far away from you. I mean, you're on the bed, they're on the floor.
I
they're a few feet
immediately
away
grab them each by the scruff of the neck and pull them close to my head and scream as loud as I can, "Let go!"
As you grab them,
No, don't do it.
their bite becomes even more ferocious.
Calm down,
and they,
mate. Please.
and they clamp down
Stop,
on
stop.
Mr. Mosey.
Stop.
And yeah, they've not torn him at the moment. Mr. Mosey's definitely seen better days. He's not ripped. He's not torn. There's no stuffing anywhere.
I saw this on an episode of Dog Whisperer. I'd reach down and bite him on the ear.
You'd have thought Mr. Mosey's armour would have afforded him some better protection for all that money it cost.
He doesn't wear it to sleep, surely.
only an idiot would wear it to sleep.
He doth. Yeah,
that would be mental if he did.
I've bitten Billy on the ear.
You've bitten Billy on the ear.
Apparently, it's a thing.
It's like a Mexican
Right,
standoff
okay.
of biting.
Can you roll me in a attack roll?
Oh, this is revenge, isn't it?
Oh, it's got to be animal handling all day, surely.
Well, he's not tried that. He's grabbed them to pull them.
I tried to tell him to let go.
Yeah. Can you? Can you roll me an attack roll then?
An attack roll?
Lord.
Is speak with animals a 10-minute ritual?
Shut the fuck up.
It is technically, but I've not let him.
I was going to say, I can imagine him just casting it for 10 minutes while they're just tearing him like Mr. Mosey limb from limb.
Is it an attack roll? It's not an attack, though, is it? It's just like a...
Well,
unarmed strike, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You can do it. I mean, you can do it non-lethally.
It's not even trying to be lethal. It's just trying to...
Surprised if the dog dies.
It's just trying to shock the dog.
It's a very normal
It's like
bite the dog.
It's like if I flicked Dabov. It wouldn't be an attack roll.
If I flicked a dab off.
Don't bring me into this.
For the record, by the time that Mr. Mosey, the DM on Twitter, hears this, and his namesake getting destroyed by a couple of dogs, I'm sure he'll be very pleased. Can you roll me an attack roll, please?
Yeah, 14.
14.
Oh wait,
Hits the dog.
Oh wait, is it an alarm strike?
It is, yeah.
21.
Me, 14 hits. Hang on a minute. Yeah, it's 21. Yeah, it hits even more. So the dog doesn't evade your bite. And can you roll me some damage, an unarmed damage, then, please?
It's just 5. It's just 5 damage.
It's 5. Do you want to do that non-lethal? Or?
What do you mean non-lethal? I'm not trying to bite his ear off. I'm not fucking Mike Tyson.
Okie dokie. You bite the ear.
How much HP has a Rottweiler got?
Not a lot. It's a Mastiff anyway, not a Rottweiler. It takes surprisingly a lot of damage from this non-lethal bite that you've given it to the ear, and it does let go of Mr. Mosey, and it runs away from you, and starts like scratching at the door to get out.
Oh no!
But all this while, that was, who did you bite, Billy or Bob?
Billy.
Bob is still very much clamped onto Mr. Mosey.
Which end has this one got? Which one?
This one's got the head. Bob's got the head. Billy had the...
Oh, so the crotch is free at least.
Yeah. He's
Billy,
not going to be a castrated bear.
Billy had the bare necessities.
I say to Bob, you let go of his head. You let go of his head, or I'll remove yours.
Oh.
Bloody hell!
We're gonna have freaking Peter on the go to us now.
Someone's clearly picked favourites as well. You're giving him a talking to, but you bit the other one's ear off. Like, that's going to make some interesting dynamics in your little group. Hope they're not jealous dogs.
Can you? Oh, Jesus, would this be animal handling or intimidation? Let's go with animal handling.
My animal handling and my intimidation have the same bonus, so...
Oh, so it doesn't really matter then. But let's just for flavour, let's go with animal handling.
Oh, a 19.
A 19. Bob, also, having seen that you're willing to bite a dog, is not stupid. You know, dogs are stupid in many ways, but they're also bright in others. And self-preservation prevails. And he also lets go of Mr Mosey, and he also runs over to Billy, and they are now both scratching at the door to get out, scared of their new master. Can you give me an investigation check, please, on Mr Mosey?
Oh, God.
And then a medicine check.
14.
14. Yeah, he. As I say, it's clear that they had been toying with him for a little while. You know, he's got some chew marks, but nothing. You know, they've not pierced the skin, so to speak. They've been playing with him for a little while before you've woken up. Your dream had you in such a fever that you didn't hear this, and he's just got lots of doggy drool and you know he just look he's probably taken 10% damage on his HP if he had any.
Clearly, this is the only reasonable cause for my nightmare. There's nothing else it could be.
Lovely. So that's that. Anything else you'd like to do with the dogs before I move on? Or anything else in your room? Indeed. This is the next morning, by the way. This is sort of early morning for you.
I have a rations kit, which I'm going to open out and place on the floor for the dogs to eat, and be like, "You leave Mosey alone, and we'll get on just fine."
Can I have another animal handling at disadvantage because you bit them?
bit one of them.
And threaten the other.
A 18 and a...
At disadvantage? Oh.
Yeah, no, an 18 and a 13 overall.
13. They stop scratching at the door, but they don't particularly trust you. And they certainly don't come over to the rations.
Leave the rations. They'll be hungry eventually.
Okay, eventually. Lovely. Anything else?
I spit out the bit of ear. No.
I thought you did it non-lethally. Come on.
I'm not going to die for... No, I didn't bite the ear off. I'm joking.
For the record, Mastiffs have 5 hit points, so in theory, one of them should be dead from that bite.
Wow.
To the ear.
But I'm gonna just take it that they just
It was just a warning shot.
Took the ear off and it peeled all the skin and flesh off the bones.
The ear bones.
Yeah, like when you get a hangnail and you just pull it a bit too much.
Yeah.
That's me done, I think.
Okay. Finally, we're going to move over to Daboff. Before you go to bed, I know we were sort of playing with time a little bit here. Was there anything you wanted to do before you crashed?
Having heard Dweezil furiously buffing his armour in its other room, Daboff finds himself a bit, I want a piece of that. So he's going to train the weasel.
How hard was Dweezil rubbing that you heard?
And also that it made you want to train the weasel.
Yeah, it was all the crashing and swearing and crying that did it. So I want to. I'm going to lay out some coins in front of me, and every time and I'm going to sort of motion to Vin, like bring them to me, and every time he brings me the gold one, I'm just going to give him a bit of a treat out of my bag, just out of my out of my rations.
So how many coins have you got for him to do?
There's just 3. So there's a bronze, a silver, and a gold.
And you, all right, okay. And how many times are you gonna try this trick with him?
I'm gonna spend maybe half an hour or so. Just however many times he manages to do it in that time. I'll give him a treat every time he manages to bring me the gold one.
Okie dokie. How are we going to deal with this? Let's sort of do a bit of mechanics with this. What would that be? Is it animal handling? It's not really. He's a spirit more than an animal. Let's say that in that half an hour he does it. Let's say 20 times. Let's see how many times he does that correctly. He does it once correctly. But that's still one time better than before you started to train him, I guess.
I like how I just realised I'm trying to train him like an animal. I can communicate and tell him what to do.
Yeah.
But
And he's still got one.
I want this
Still
to
got one.
Yeah, I want this to be like a reflex of like I want him to do it on his own accord without me having to tell him. Like,
Okay.
yeah, a new trick essentially.
Cool. Well, he did it right once on his own without you communicating, but he did it maybe a number of other times perfectly fine once you told him what you wanted.
Yeah,
to do.
like I'll tell him to start with, and then just leave him to do it on his own. I hope that he gets it.
Lovely. Settle down for the evening. Anything else you want to do?
No, I just wonder what the hell all that noise was about barking dogs, but then just go to sleep.
So you rest. You also have a bit of a restless night, actually. But you don't have any dreams per se. You don't wake up to anything. You don't have anything that you can wake up and remember any sort of particular memories or any characters or storylines or anything from your dreams. But when you do wake up, you find it incredibly difficult to open your eyes. And in fact, you go to rub at them to sort of try and awaken yourself and get yourself up and going. And as you get your hand up to your eyelids, you notice how incredibly cold your eyes are. And in fact, like your eyelids are actually sort of frozen shut. Not impenetrable by any means, but there's just like all your tears have frozen overnight.
I do often cry in the night.
Exactly. And in fact, there is actually as you're rubbing, your hand sort of just notices that it goes beyond your eyes, and actually there is down one side there is actually a streak of sort of frozen droplets. And you take 1 cold damage.
Ooh. Have my temporary hit points from Dweezil worn off, or do they just stay until they're gone?
I think they stay until they're gone. Or do they go at the end of the day, actually saying that? I think they might go at the end of the day, do they?
I thought you mentioned that before. They go at the end of the day. But...
Yeah.
No, I'm sure they're persistent. Like,
I thought we said they were persistent last time, but I can't remember.
I can redo it once per short rest, but they stay.
Okay. I now have 7 temporary hit points left then.
And that is you woken up for the day, and you're all, Greg included, you're all now, in fact Quinch as well, because I think we only got him going to bed. You're all now awake. It's a new day.
Yes, it is.
Thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button on your favourite podcast app to ensure you don't miss any future instalments of Dice and Desire. And in the meantime, if you want to interact with us, come and find us on Twitter and Instagram at Dice and Desire.
Oh, there, sailor. Yes, I'm talking to you. Do you yearn for high seas adventure and piratical mayhem at the roll of a D20?
Yes, I'll just toss you your shirt. Very sassy.
No, I drink beer and I fart in my sleep.
Now that I got your attention with sex, here I have to say...
Welcome to my pub, the Wizard's Sleeve.
It's still a cow that I'm gonna get in a bag. Do you know how big a cow is?
Don't put gold in your ass. That's not the catchphrase we were looking for.
It is one that we often use at this group,
Enough
though.
about where you keep your secret stuff.
It's not in my anus. Stop it.
Then sign your name in blood. Join the rovers on your crew on their adventures every Wednesday, wherever you find podcasts.